is a bit, rude, like condescending. Do you get what I mean? So, in that case, how have things been for you lately? No, I know what you mean. Especially after what happened about 5 years ago, it definitely can put a jump start on your fears in regards to health stuff. Have you been taking care of yourself? I know what you mean. Oh, you can hear the planes overhead. We're located in a pretty good area for that. You know, at first it was kind of annoying, but honestly, over time it becomes comforting, you know? It's like, you always read about plane crashes, and you think they happen all the time. My practice has been here. This is my home practice. It's been here for about 15 years. And you know something? Not even one time has there ever been a plane crash. You know, I used to have a big fear of planes. Not anymore, though. I've actually gone on a couple flights. I went out to Toronto, and soon I'm gonna go out to Edmonton so I can see the West Edmonton Mall. You ever been on a plane? I'm scared of them too, huh? No, I can relate totally, but keep in mind, like I just said, 15 years, not one plane crash. And, you might be wondering why I brought that up, like what that has to do with what we're here for today. Well, there's actually a very good reason for that. See, we have all these fears of things happening, of the worst case scenario. You know, like, the plane goes down into the ocean and we do our best fish impression, or, I don't know, we get a horrible disease. But have you noticed that the only time you hear about these things in the news is like once in a blue moon, and the fact that the only reason we're hearing about it at all is because it's so rare that it almost never happens? Well, I think we can take that and put it towards your health anxiety fears. No, I can't lie to you. Some people, and keep in mind, this is so rare that it gets written about in medical journals because it almost never happens. Sometimes you can have a really fit guy. He jogs every day. He's in tip-top shape, muscular, top of his game. One day he just drops. That almost never happens. And now, I don't know about you, but for me, one of the things I always feared was, well, due to my size, what if I have a heart attack? What if, I just neglected to take care of myself for so long that my body gives out? Well, I'm still here. And plus, think about those muscular dudes who dedicated their whole lives to being in shape and drop dead. It's not a fun thought, but the fact is, life is gonna go on, whether you stay afraid or not. Those people who spent their lives working out, taking care of themselves, they marched forward. And the thing is, what would you rather do? Would you rather, as I've done in the past, and I know you've done, sit and ruminate on these possible negative outcomes? Or would you rather just live your life, And I think you coming to my practice kind of shows me that you do want to just live your life. I'll tell you a story, in fact. A story of some of the issues I had when I was younger. So, I'd been kind of doom scrolling like you do, going through Reddit or whatever, news stories, and seeing all these incidents of horrible things happening. My particular one was, there is a brain-eating amoeba called N. fowleri. Now, what this thing does is it resides in these, still waters. So say you were going out to a creek lake and you wanted to swim and just kind of chill, have a relaxing day. You go into the creek, you go underwater, the water goes up your nose, or in some cases, something like a neti pot, and they don't have treated water. The water goes up your nose, the bacteria gets up there, goes up into your brain, gives you a brain infection, and eats your brain, and you're dead. And there's no cure for it, right? There's no way to stop this thing from happening. What I did was I would put like alcohol up my nose, and eventually, you know what it did? It damaged my sense of smell to the point that now I don't have a sense of smell. Years later, almost a decade later. Now I want you to take that and I want you to think to yourself, what could I have done differently to prevent something that never happened? I think you're right about that. I could have not worried about these 99.999999999% impossible things because it didn't happen. If it did happen, I would be dead before I knew it was wrong, you see? But I spent that time ruminating on it, and it damaged me. My fear hurt me more than the actual thing I was afraid of, because I never encountered the thing that I was most afraid of. So in that case, let's put that towards you. You've spent this time worrying. You've spent this time in fear. But during that time, you could have focused on so many other things. You could have focused on an achievement you wanted to accomplish. Let's say you wanted to academically do something. But, oh my word, the neighbor's dog is really going at it now, eh? But you could have spent this time that you were spending scared, focusing on your work, focusing on independent study, or perhaps on saving money in order to start a new course, something to better your life situation. That is a more wise way of spending your time. And I know that it's hard to rewire your brain. We feel these things for a reason. Some cases it could be a form of obsessive compulsive disorder where you can't stop thinking about something. But other times, maybe it's caused by trauma. For example, let's say you had a health scare that was particularly bad. Have you ever? So you had something which caused this fear to grow inside of you, correct? As did I. Now the thing is, you've kind of gone down this path yourself, you see. The time that you spent worrying about this thing that did not ever happen, you could have spent doing something else. Now you're lucky in the fact that you haven't damaged yourself as I did, and I'm lucky that I only damaged my sense of smell. But had I not worried about this thing, I would still have my sense of smell, and I would not have caused any damage to myself. What I want you to do in situations where you are worried of a disease or of something like, I don't know, let's say, do you have a fear of allergies by any chance? Anaphylaxis, things like that. Well, what I did, whenever I became scared of something, I would set a timer. For me, I was scared of eating new foods because I worried that if I ate something that my body didn't like or that I had an allergy to and didn't know it, it could give me a fatal allergic reaction and anaphylactic attack. What I would do is on my phone, and you don't need an iPhone for this, you can have any sort of phone that has a timer, even a watch. Set a timer for an hour. If an hour has passed and nothing has happened and you're still good, then you're going to be good. Nothing is going to happen, you see. And let's think of that compared to the other things we're scared of. Allergies are very, very common, to the point at schools they have no peanuts. Sometimes they have other things that people are commonly allergic to. Think of how common that is. People have allergic reactions all the time. So that's common. That's a more common fear. health-wise. But how often have you even seen someone have an allergic reaction? I think in 30 years of being alive, I saw it one time. And let's factor in, when people have allergic reactions, how often is it so severe that they pass away from it? Almost never. Now I know that that might not fully eliminate the fear, but let's also factor in how common are allergies compared to other things. Cancer, plane crashes. Some people are even scared of going outside and being attacked or something. These things are not that common. And the only reason that we hear about them is because of how uncommon they are. It breaks the norm. The norm is these things don't happen very often. Also, allow me to make some suggestions if you are very afraid of health-related stuff due to, let's say, diet, or just you feel like you're out of shape. Why not try one meal a day? What you do, you take time out of your day every day to have one big meal, and then after that you don't have any other meals. That includes like snacks, though you can have a coffee with no sugar if you want, or like as many as you want, as long as like you're not adding sugar, because coffee itself is just like the stuff from a bean. It's not going to cause you to gain a lot of weight, you see. But you can have this. You can have your meals situated to one time a day. For me, that was lunch. So I'd have my big meal, and then afterwards I'd go on my treadmill, go get my steps in, make sure that I just had the one meal and a bunch of water, and I would do this for months. And you know what happened? I started getting in shape. And you know what happened with that? Well, I was able to gain more confidence. I felt like I was more of myself. I started to work out as well. I would recommend 15-pound dumbbells, or even what I used to do when I had no money at all and I was in between jobs for 2 years. If you have any big milk jugs, take them, wash them out, and go and get some sand. Now the reason why I say sand and not rocks is because rocks are going to have an uneven amount of weight to them, because you can only fit so many rocks in, and there's a bunch of gaps in there, and every rock won't be the same weight, right? Get a bunch of sand, fill the milk jugs all the way, each one, and then lift those. It might sound silly, but they're perfectly made for it. After I did that for a while, I actually started gaining muscle from milk jugs. It sounds silly, but it works. You can do that. You can do all these things, and it will help you to get over your fear. Now for me, I would suggest, let me show you. This here, this is an Icelandic water. And what I like to do, I've had this water bottle for a little bit now. You take it, wash it out, and you can reuse it as much as you want. After it's done, it's basically, well, it is, it's a free water bottle. This gives me 1 liter of water. That should last you half a day, about. Or if you're in a work environment where you are on your feet a lot, that should last you half a work day. After the first half of your work day, you can fill it up again, and then you've got enough water for the second half too. Think about it. Water is so much healthier for you than soda or even like coffee. It helps to keep you fueled. It helps to keep you going. And it'll make sure that you're not putting any more calories into your body. Because if you are scared of health stuff, a lot of the times, unless it's something like hereditary, health issues are usually caused by diet. Well, if we can modify our diet to be 1 meal a day, if we can add in a lot of water, that'll help us to not be thirsty and not want to go and get a soda or something, because we've got a healthier alternative right here. The the stuff that God made for us, that water. And I mean, you can even add some, there's this thing called Mio. It's a water enhancer, they call it. Sugar-free, basically, juice. Think of like Crystal Light if you're older. You take that, you put that in your water, and there you go. If you have to have something sweet, you've got that, and you haven't gained any calories, or barely any, like a negligible amount. That will help you immensely. So, that'll get your, let's say, dietary causing fears out of the way, because you're working on it. Then, you'll want to, as I said, get a sort of system going so that you can kind of check yourself. Do you get what I mean? Like for how I had my timer on my phone with my fear of allergies. After a while, you have to try to get out of your comfort zone. So while you can, have something to check yourself so you know that you'll always be good going forward. And then, once you feel comfortable enough with your system, I would say a few months, maybe 3 months of doing your system, try to break out of it gradually. Even if it's like every couple days you don't use it, do that. Because keep in mind, a lot of this stuff is related to like OCD and things like that. So if you don't break out of your comfort zone, you won't be able to change it. And I know that a lot of the times people will think of like desires they have to change. But one thing I learned from, and believe it, take it from me, if you just sit there and don't actually make any steps toward the change, it's a nice thought, but it won't make you better. You have to get up at the end of the day, make those changes, and I know it's hard, it's not fun. No change is fun, but if you put the time and effort in, you will be able to see progress because you're making the progress. And ultimately, in life, you are your best friend. Nobody else can do it for you, right? I'm wishing you well. I know that you will succeed as long as you can remember that. You're your own best friend. You have to do these things and put the effort in to change. Now, I'd like to ask you, are you willing to take these things that I have given you into consideration? That's wonderful. Try these out. I understand that it's difficult to actually start the progress towards getting yourself out of this kind of loop that you're in, but it's imperative that you actually start doing it, not just think it, because as much as I like the concept of stuff like manifestation, just thinking about something and wanting it won't actually make it happen. Do you understand? It's a good thought, you know? It's a thought that is really kind of uplifting, that if you just imagine something enough, it'll happen. But I feel like that's not reality, you know? What's most important is that you're willing to take steps to initiate that progress. So, think about what I've said today. Try and find ways that you can implement my steps, like a timer or just a way to check yourself when you feel yourself slipping into the fear. Because that's ultimately all it is, fear. And keep in mind, some people, even the ones who you think, oh, this guy's so strong, he's gonna live to 100. Sometimes things just happen and they pass away, even younger than us. You know, I'm 30. I'm quite young for a psychiatrist. And honestly, I've known some people who have passed. These people were far healthier than me. Let me tell you something. I could put down like 2 Big Macs in 30 minutes, and I'm still alive somehow, you know, knock on wood. But, do you understand what I mean? It really is all up to chance, but the positive aspect is that, more often than not, these horrible things we're worried about just don't happen. So, take my steps into consideration. Try and find little ways that you can make little changes, one at a time, give up, but you have to try, and I'll try with you. I'm going to be implementing this myself. I won't just tell you to do it, but I'm going to do this for myself as well. I want to see everyone succeed at their goals. I want to see everyone overcome their fears, because we only get one life, so why spend it ruminating on the negative, on the worst possible outcome? Let's go out there, and let's do our best, and let's accomplish our goals. We only live once, so will you take my advice? Perfect. I look forward to seeing you again, and I look forward to seeing you make tremendous steps. So, I hope that you have a good one. If you want to schedule an appointment, my secretary is in the next room, and I'd be more than happy to make you a regular patient. Awesome. I'll see you next time, okay? Have a good one.